Today's adventure, going to travel the border track, the border between South Australia and Victoria. Going to do the section from the Sturt Highway down to the Mallee Highway. Never done this section before on this part of the border track, so I'm keen to explore. Let's go have a look at it. I've arrived at the corner of Border Track and Settlement Road here in the Murray Sunset National Park. Now, so far the track from Sturt Highway down to this point to Settlement Road has been really good. Surprisingly, considering the amount of rain Victoria's had in the last 12 months, the track has held up well. It's in good condition. If I was to go left here and follow Settlement Road, I'd follow the northern border of the Murray Sunset National Park. But I'm going to continue south along the border track to Border Campground, which is about half an hour from here. So I'll get back into the Fortuna and head along this track. We've come to the intersection of the border track and Phoenix track. Now the last, say 3 or 4 kilometres of the border track, it splits in two. You've got one closer to the border along the fence line, and you've got a wider, looks like a newer track just inside of the fence line a little bit. They run parallel to each other. This one here is a lot wider. The other ones are very narrow, as you would see on the video. So just down there should be the campground. So let's go check it out. I'm all set up. Got the swag out. I got the billy on the boil for a cup of tea. Now, just one thing about this campsite, not an issue, but there's no toilet, drop toilet, no water. So you need to be self-sufficient in this particular camp spot. So if you're out here and you decide to come to this spot, just remember that. Time for a cup of tea. As we head south, the track begins to change. There are more sand hills. The track itself is sandier, and even the vegetation has slightly changed. The mallee bush and the trees are slightly lower, and yeah, it's amazing within a few kilometres how the terrain changes in the Murray Sunset National Park. It's beautiful. It's fascinating. Can't believe it. That's steeper and softer than what I thought. Let's go back. I was in high range there, just in auto, and yeah, got stuck. That's all we needed, is a little bit of low range. That was the toughest bit of hill so far. So a little bit of a challenge. As I said before, as you head south, the sand dunes get bigger, they're closer together, and the sand is softer. Okay, I've come up to this section of the border track. We've been heading south and going over rolling sand hills. It's been a beautiful drive. The track does narrow quite a bit. Then it gets to this point here. The track widens, it's more of a dirt road, and so we'll continue to follow it as long as we can. I think there's a particular spot we've got to cut back inland and then come back down to the Mallee Highway, but we'll follow it as much as we can. There are some sections even on the GPS, the car GPS on the map. That section we just did, this last bit before we got here, wasn't even on the map, so I just continue to follow the trackers along the fence line, and this is where I've come. So I'll continue south and see where we go. Tractor. Yep, farm country. Well, that's the end of this section of the border track. We're now in farm country, so from here we'll continue along the detour, the border track detour, see where it takes us, and then find a spot, have some lunch. Okay, once you get off the border track, turn left on the border track bypass road, which is actually called Curley's Road. Continue along there. After a little while, on the right hand side, you'll see some old ruins, an old homestead, it's abandoned, and there's a track that leads to the ruins. So take that track down, have a look at the track, look at the ruins, follow the track, and that track, well, this track here, which I'm on, will connect to Wall Road. And Wall Road, you turn right, and then that will connect you back onto the border track according to the map. So I've stopped on this track, and I've got some interesting company, as you can see, huge spiders in the tree, and I'm making myself some lunch. So once I'm done, I'm back on the track and check out the last bit of this northern section of the border track. Just finished lunch, bit of wind blowing up, just turning off Wall Road, back onto the border track through the Burdock Forest. It's the first day of winter in 2023. And I tell you what, it's sunny and it's warm, 21 degrees. This is the beauty about northwest Victoria. It's still, you get fantastic weather during winter. While it's miserable, drizzly cold in Melbourne, you can see beautiful days up here in the Mallee. Another vehicle coming out of the Burdock State Forest. Nice little forest, good drive through, tracks in good, pretty good condition. There is one campground that you can come across and stay in the state forest if you want to. There's a sign on the track showing you where the campground is. So if you wish to stay the night, sure. We continue south towards the Mallee Highway. This part of the track is really different. So coming to the southern part of this section toward the Mallee Highway, the track really narrows, it's really scrubby, very undulating and slow going. It looks like I've come to the end of the four-wheel drive section. Border Track has now turned into Border Road. Concluded this section of the Border Track from the Sturt Highway down to the Mallee Highway. Really enjoyed it. It was great camping out last night. The weather's been beautiful for the first day of winter. It's been lovely and warm. It's been absolutely fantastic. Had a great camp out and the track was really good. I enjoyed it. You know, it wasn't overly challenging, but it was a lot of fun though. I really enjoyed. The only section that I most probably didn't enjoy that much was the last quarter of the section where you're going through farmland or in between farmland. That wasn't overly inspiring, but other than that, I am glad I did it from the top there to the bottom here. It was great. Thank you for watching, and until next time, yeah, I look forward to it. See you then. On the way home last night, I decided to spend one more night out in the bush, camping somewhere. So I thought, okay, I'll take the Murrayville Nil track. Now the Murrayville Nil track goes from obviously to Murrayville to Nil, and it crosses through or travels through the Whipperfield National Park and the Big Desert Wilderness area. It's a very remote area of northwestern Victoria, and it is a beautiful place. It really is. And this is the camp spot I found off the side of the main track. It is fantastic. It takes a bit to get up the top of this hill because it's a pretty steep sandy track, but I got up here and I camped on top of this hill and the views are magnificent. It was a beautiful night camping up here.